Ciao Anima Bella and welcome back. Today we meet one of the most empowering and spiritually potent traits in the EVO potential analysis, centrality, or as I like to think of it, the inner alchemy. Because this trait, at its very essence, tells us whether we live as alchemists or victims. Let's get into that. Do we respond to life as something that happens to us or something that we are co-creating every moment? This episode is not about blame. It's never about blame. It's about power. Not the loud kind, but the quiet, rooted, inner kind. The kind that transforms everything from the inside out. So let's go deeper. In the EPA framework, centrality reflects your felt ability to influence outcomes in your life, in your relationships, in your business, health, more, etc., etc. So a high centrality score means I am at the center, I have choice, I have voice, and I take part and I take lead. Okay? Low centrality score equals to things happen to me. It's up to other people. I don't really have a say in it. I'm just going with the flow. But let's be clear. Low centrality isn't weakness. It's often a soul response to pain. You know, disappointments, betrayals, chaos. All of these experiences taught us that effort doesn't matter, that showing up might not change anything. And so we begin to live on the edge of our own lives, looking in, waiting, hoping, but never fully stepping into the center. And that's where inner alchemy is needed the most. So here's the heart of this trait. Centrality is the choice to transmute reaction into response. I'll say that again. It's beautiful. Centrality is the choice to transmute reaction into response. To take the energy life gives you, even the hard, the unfair, the bitter, and turn it into insight, clarity, and aligned action. That's what alchemists do. They don't escape the fire, they enter it with extreme awareness. They know that true transformation doesn't come from control, it comes from conscious choice made in stillness. Beautiful. You can't always choose what happens, but we can always choose what it becomes inside of us. Let's explore the high score and the low score of centrality in your EPA framework. So when this trait is low, you may feel helpless or small, especially in conflict situations. You may avoid difficult decisions. You may wait for others to act before you respond. You may complain often, but rarely initiate change or solution. You may catch yourself saying things like, they don't listen to me, it's not in my hands, and there's nothing I can do. And over time, by saying these things inside your mind, that creates an identity of, I'm not powerful. But here's the truth that I want to offer you, and I invite you to consider. That identity is not real. It's a scar. It's a memory. It's a borrowed belief of some sort. You were never powerless. You were just waiting for someone to give you back the key, not realizing it was already in your pocket. Let's look now at the high score centrality. So someone who in the EPA test or framework scores high on this trait. What does this mean? But this is a different version of you. You meet conflict instead of shrinking. you respond. You acknowledge that what you can control and focus on what you can control. You no longer collapse into waiting, into hoping, into reacting. You initiate conversations. You change patterns. You say yes or no with clarity. You move from the edge of your life into the center. You begin to live as the inner alchemist that you were always meant to be. You take disappointment and turn it into direction. You take confusion and you turn it into clarity. You take pain and you turn it into purpose. And that's the power of high centrality. It's like the ultimate emotional resilience, because it's also operational and it's also strategic resilience. Spiritually, I always like to dedicate a little bit of time to the spiritual perspective of all of these traits. Centrality is the birthplace of sovereignty. Centrality is not about controlling everything or everyone. It's about standing inside the chaos and choosing who you want to be in it and how you want to respond to it. And that is the art of inner alchemy, turning lead into gold, turning old stories into new truths, turning survival into leadership. And like any alchemical process, it's not instant, takes presence, takes honesty, it takes patience and kindness, and it takes the courage to say, I didn't cause all of this, but I am the one who gets to transmute it. So if your centrality trait is low in your EPA profile, this is where you can begin working on it. So number one, you notice your narrative. Catch yourself saying in your inner monologue, the one that nobody hears, but that keeps you constant company. Catch yourself every time you say things, it's not my fault. I cannot do anything about this. They never do. They were supposed to. They told me they would. When you catch yourself thinking these sentences or these thoughts, pause, reframe, and ask yourself, okay, what can I own here? What can I do here? Number two, anchor yourself into micro choices, or micro choices, I should say. Even choosing how you breathe during stress. That's part of the alchemical process. Breath is extremely powerful. Choice breaks the spell of helplessness. So every time that you feel dragged into a situation and that you automatically slip into it, stop, notice, breathe, and ask yourself, is this what I really want? Am I really choosing this right now? And have the courage, trust yourself to say no if it isn't. Number three, shift from the why to the how. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Why always me? Why am I the only one that this happens to? Etc., etc. The why is a question that creates a loop inside our head, and it prompts our brain to look for answers that often are not there. So asking the why in certain circumstances is not really ideal. So shift to asking, how do you want to meet the situation? How do you want to respond? How do you want to transform a certain relationship, situation, or context? Number four, speak your truth aloud. Every time you feel helpless or dragged into situations, stop, breathe, and tell yourself, I am the creator of my own experience on earth. What is my truth in this situation? And then honor that truth. First, you need to connect yourself with it. Then you need to speak it out loud. And also honor the consequences that your truth may create around you. So inner alchemy doesn't need fireworks. It just needs willingness, a little bit of patience, a little bit of self-kindness, and your effort and trust. So if something inside you knows that you've been living from the sidelines, waiting for others, for life, for clarity, then this is your moment to come home to the center. Life isn't waiting. It's simply being covered by old stories. And your power isn't gone. Now it's time to transmute. It's time to change everything. And remember that you're the one holding the flame.